we're going to do a quick little game here just to provide a little palate cleanser before our big feature. And this is a game we call Next Slide, Please. It's going to feature Jay and Steve and me. The way this works is there are 10 slides. Steve says, next slide, please, to go to the next slide. He has to present a talk based on this thing that we don't even know what it's going to be. Come on in here. Are you there? He is. Oh, look at that.
Space
oh, nice, right? See, there it is. Oh, so yeah. So
hi.
Next slide, please. I'm going to get out of the way. We have a name. We have a subject. Here we go. How we know squirrels run the world. Steve, go for it. Next slide, please.
All right. Well, this is one of my favorite topics. I've been involved for many years investigating the activities of squirrels and their nefarious deeds. So let's go to the first slide. So now everyone knows that squirrels love shoes, right? One of the strategies that you can use actually to throw off squirrels is to wear uncoordinated shoes, because squirrels are used to the shoes matching, and that is how they track human activity. And so we found it's actually extremely effective. If you just wear mismatched shoes, then the squirrels are entirely thrown off. And so that's a method that we've been employing to spy on squirrels. It kind of throws them off their game. And then you can figure out what they're doing a lot more effectively. Next slide, please. Next slide. So, all right, here we go. Yeah. Now, you might not realize this, but there are different kinds of squirrels around the world. There are there's 4 different types of squirrels. They break down into, we have a clever pie chart there. So majority of squirrels are the gray squirrels, of course. Then the 31% are the black squirrels, then brown and red. But they are all involved with the plot to take over the world. The gray squirrels are dominant. We call them the leader squirrels. The red squirrels are the muscle. They're the muscle squirrels. They're the enforcers. We call them the enforcers. And then, of course, there's the infiltrators, the black op squirrels. So, but they work in coordination with each other, and they're very effective in doing so. Next slide, please. There we go. Now, so you may wonder what this has to do with the whole squirrel thing. Squirrels are actually involved in infiltrating the internet, and they place nonsensical information on the internet in order to befuddle our attempts at coordinating, the undermining of their plot and discovering it, right? So they'll put up things like, oh, what would happen when a mashup between a blender and Godzilla? What does that have to do with anything? That it's squirrel subterfuge. This is misinformation campaign that they are engaged in online. Again, the innocuous things you would never know lead back to squirrels. But when you follow the trail of nuts, that's exactly where it leads. Next slide, please. Now, there's a tremendous effect on the economy from the squirrel. George, please. This is a serious business, George.
Sorry.
No laughter from the Acorn Gallery over there. So, in fact, they are attempting to tank our economy. That's one of the ways that they're trying to take over the world. If they can tank the human economy, then that is the part, phase 1 of their rise to power. So they will target industries like automobiles, and they will try to reduce the value of the industry, reduce production, et cetera. Sometimes they use methods such as promoting alternative technologies, like tricycles. That they will try to promote that as an alternative. But really, their goal is to reduce automotive industry as sort of a domino effect to tank the economy. Next slide, please. Now, eventually, all this is going to come to a head, right? It's going to be like a big explosion. And then when is that going to happen? How long is it going to take for the squirrel apocalypse to hit? When is D-Day for when the squirrels take over the world? This is the big question we have not been able to answer, and we are trying to find that out. But we are afraid that it might be sooner than you think. That these squirrels are ready. They are ready to pounce from their oak trees. They are storing up their nuts They are getting ready for the squirrel apocalypse. But we have many people working on the problem of trying to decipher, their activity and their communication and what they're doing to try to figure out when that's going to be. Next slide, please. I'm getting a little bit behind. I have to pick up the pace a little bit. Now, so squirrels are engaged, again, in research on humans. They study humans. They especially study celebrities because they think we've figured out that squirrels think that celebrities are the rulers of human civilization, and so they study them, like people like Ted Danson. Why would squirrels study Ted Danson? Because they think people like him are actually running our world. This has given actually a good opportunity for us to try to undermine their efforts, because squirrels haven't figured out the real power structure in human civilization. We are able to better infiltrate and undermine their efforts. Next slide. All right, I got to wrap it up. All right, now forget about it. Go to the next slide. I don't have time for that one. Okay, so as I already mentioned, they're tanking the economy, and the stock market is one of their big targets, right? So once the economy goes down the tube, they are going to try to cause a run on the bank, a run on the stock market, and to have a worldwide depression. Next slide. So in addition, once the economy tanks and then the stock market tanks, as the next phase, so where they're building up to the big D-Day that the apocalypse I told before, they are going to start lots of domestic fires. And they're going to do that. They're practicing how to do that, how to turn on the gas, how to to start little fires, and then they're going to set the world ablaze. That's going to be that's when we know we're going to get really close to the end, when there's going to be sudden, unexplained fires just happening all over the place. And the last slide, which I think will sum everything up. So just like there's. You might think that the thing that we have to worry about most is the robot apocalypse, but it isn't. It's actually the squirrel apocalypse. They want us to be blissfully happy like nothing is going on, and then bam, they're going to drop the nuts right on us. Thank you for your time and attention.
Nicely done. Nicely done. My goodness. I'm convinced. I hope you're convinced.